Here at Tattoo Tabletop, we have a lot of fun, so be sure to like, share, subscribe. It's all completely free and it helps me out. And if you really want to help me out, come join our Patreon. Link is in the description where you can come post and talk about your favorite minis. Now back to the video.
Welcome to Tattoo Tabletop. My name is James, and today we are talking about reveals, specifically the New Year Warhammer preview that came out on Friday. Originally, I was going to live stream it, and then it was during the day, so then I figured, I'll just record my genuine reactions and upload them here. And as it turns out, my old mouse decided to double click when I hit start recording, so it didn't record anything. So we're just going to go through and we're going to go through the individual articles, talk about things that I'm excited about, my thoughts, my feelings on all of it. And of course, feel free to weigh in the comments down below. And of course, if you do like this content, feel free to like, share, subscribe. It's massively appreciated. We're growing. I massively appreciate every single one of you. But enough talking, let's dive right into it. All right, so let's do this. We're going to start with 40K. So, New Year preview, prepare to be boarded by the Red Corsairs. That's right, the Red Corsairs have been unveiled. We won't play the trailer or anything like that. You can look that up there. But we got here, so we had Huron Blackheart, but now we have his retinue, the Masters of the Maelstrom. They went into a little bit of who these characters are. I will just say right off the bat, the Apothecary is a pretty cool look, first Chaos Apothecary looking thing. The Enforcer is an interesting new species. I would say the miniatures that stand out to me the most is obviously Huron himself, but I really love this mortal commander here. She is very cool, and the sorcerer. I mean, we've seen something like the sorcerer before. This is just really, really cool. So I think that one takes the cake for me. It talks about all of his different people. Katar Garrix is this executioner, which for being an executioner, yeah, you got the severed heads and everything, but just something about this just does not jump out at me. I feel like this one kind of came off a little lazily or just didn't look nearly as good. Garland's Soul Eater, the Master Manipulator, Deadly Sorcerer. That's that guy. I really like him. And that is absolutely incredible. Let's see. Garen Corpsemaster, Lord Apothecary, Katar Garrix. Oh, doesn't even mention the human yet, I don't think. Where is she? Oh, yes. Captain Sargada. Shipmaster of the Red Corsairs. I think her model looks absolutely incredible. Let's pan to here so you can get a closer look. Yeah, just like the little details. I think this is going to be a really fun diorama-esque piece. That'll do a ton. I think she looks incredible. What's not to love, right? So I think she looks really good. And then we get a wider look. There is a box coming out for the Red Corsairs. Some of these are new kits. Some of these are not. The Terminators here are just generic Terminators. These are Traitor Guards. But they do have Reaver Captains, Reavers, and a few other things. Red Corsairs, Raiders. They very much remind me of the Blood Claws kit from the Space Wolves for sure. Just in terms of their aesthetic design, some of the faces and stuff like that. They do look absolutely incredible. I really like their appearance. I think they do some really, really cool stuff. It is interesting. I was curious if they're going to be just a flat out Red Corsairs unit, or if they're going to be there. They will show up in CSM. You can use them for CSM, period. But I think they are going to have the Red Corsairs specific words, kind of like how there's the Nemesis Claw kill team that has 9 lords specifically. So there's the Raiders there. They look, some older armor marks. I like the pattern, like the storytelling in the armoring, kind of giving that idea that they are in fact Raiders and that they're piecemealing some of their armor together. And then of course the Reeve Captain, a really cool looking model, looks great. Is apparently going to be less fighty than the Chaos Lord, which is not what I would have anticipated, but I am curious to see what kind of rules they bring. And then of course, a lot of these are just the generic already legionaries that are, given Red Corsair upgrades and stuff like that to make it look a little different, which the kit does do very well. There's a picture of the upgrades. Only a few pieces in there, which is a little disappointing. Only 5 faces. But some cool little bits in there for sure. So that is the Red Corsairs. Hop on to the next one.
When you're taking a break from your latest quest, the Bellows Bistro has exactly what you need. Located next to the Forge in Chaska with a fantastic fantasy setting, a wide selection of unique food items that will be sure to satisfy the adventurer in you. While you open up that new pack of Magic the Gathering cards, maybe play some board games or just take in the aesthetic. This will for sure become a staple for you in the future. Thank you to the Bellows Bistro for sponsoring this video.
So next is the book, The Maelstrom Lair of the Tyrant. So this is obviously the one that got leaked, talking about the Red Corsairs versus, and we'll cover them here shortly, the Eldari Corsairs and Prince Uriel, who has returned, which is really, really cool to see. Okay, so this is just talking about some of the stuff that you can make. Crucible Champions talks a little bit about the books. There was some stuff that did come out with it, so there is going to be a Drukhari and Leagues of Votann box, specifically a Witch Cult one, so 10 Witches, 5 Hellions, 2 Venoms, 3 Reavers, and a Succubus. That's going to sell a lot, because Drukhari currently, right now, I think the main way to play Drukhari is Spectacle of Spite, and these are all in demand. So I have no doubt that will have no problem selling. The Leagues of Votann one is much more disappointing, just 6 Steeljacks, Menhir Strategists, and Pioneers. If this is only really going to work for like newer Votann players like myself, I have probably 12 Herngen Pioneers. I don't need any more Pioneers. If it was Steeljacks and a Capricus or something like that, then I'm on board, because I did like the new Votann book. I should probably give it a try, but I wasn't so hyped that I immediately just bought everything. That was not in the cards for me at the time, so I just held off. And honestly, some of the new model reveals were just kind of meh for me. So if they took this out and replaced it with like a Capricus or something like that, I think it'd be a much better value. And that's going to be the Maelstrom. There's all sorts of cool stuff coming with the books. I'm really excited to read the lore for Titus. I'm really excited to read lore for this. So it looks like we're getting different war fronts, which I think is kind of a cool idea, as opposed to one giant connected thing. You have 500 Worlds Titus, and now you have Maelstrom, Lair of the Tyrant. So everybody's kind of got their own thing. This is everybody's individual branching paths moving forward, which is kind of a cool way to go about that. And of course, add some fun new crusade things, or like battle plans, new missions. I'm on board for it. It's all cool to me. Next up, let's talk about the Eldari Corsairs themselves. Again, not watching the video, but here is the battle force attached to it with a Void Dreamer, which is really, really cool. You got the Corsairs Kill Team kit there, and you got some new variation of the Swooping Hawks, it looks like. More specifically, so here's Uriel himself, return double back banner. Apparently he's going to be a monster in combat, which is really cool to hear. I love the color. The color is so sick. I love a good turquoise or teal, so that's immediately sold me. Sky Reavers, so they're a new jump pack group for Corsairs, which is really cool to see. It's good to see Eldar getting fleshed out a little bit more. I do like seeing some of the like Drukhari-esque heads, because you know they're still part of Eldari society, but I like the idea of the Corsairs as a wider thing. And again, teal color scheme, I'm sold. Karseth, here he is, the Void Dreamer. Karseth the Aethermancer. Really cool looking model, and apparently like has some really cool rules attached to him. Very excited for that. And then of course you have the Viper and Starfang. So the Starfang, I believe, is the new one here. This is the new kit for Corsairs themselves, but it's a dual kit with Viper, so you can build or, and of course you have the already existing Void Scarred, red Corsairs for them, and they all look really cool, all well painted, very cool to see. Again, we got kind of some leaks, but it's good to see the high res images of them. And the last bit that we'll jump onto, and we'll cover this right now for 40k sake, because this was the end preview, but the next thing coming appears to be the Eye of Terror. So there's some stuff coming for Iron Warriors. These are the hints, the big rumors that it's Perturabo returning. It's a possibility. I could kind of see it. It'll be weird to see him demonized, if I'm being honest, because I don't know if he assumed a demon form or anything like that, but he got a big old bow stance with a couple things. There was a leaked image that seem to indicate a lot of these things. So maybe it is true. But yeah, it'll be interesting to say the least. The thing that threw me for the loop, and it didn't even show it here. So this is a 40k supplement, detailed Eye of Terror. It does have the Cadian symbol in the center of it, and it's at the end of this teaser here. But it'll be very interesting to see what that story, that plotline is. Iron Warriors maybe emerging out from the Eye of Terror and truly striking out. I'm not sure. But it'll also be interesting because now that's another Demon Primarch on the Trader side, while we still just have Lute and the Lion. But also, from what I understand from the end of Titus, there is a hint that the Lion has traveled to the Ultramar system to talk to his brother and says we need to talk. So hopefully, very excitingly, Eye of Terror answers that. All right, now on to the Mortal Realms. Age of Sigmar had a fantastic reveal as well, and I am incredibly excited about this one. The Ossiarch Bone Reapers have officially been teased, and this is what they have given us. So they've given us, number one, a Leech Cavalos on War Chariot. This looks awesome. So obviously still very much channeling that Tomb King's aesthetic to them, giving them chariots, especially, pulled with their like horses here. This looks incredible. They told us like it was a 3-up save, 12 wounds. It's very beefy. The details look incredible. There's some alternate builds, and because also it builds a normal War Chariot, an Ossiarch War Chariot, and it looks like you can equip it with a ranged weapon or a melee weapon. I am stoked. The idea of running all chariots sounds hilarious and awesome to me. Especially, or just incorporating them into the army. They look incredible. I love the design. I'm very excited for that. That's not a reveal I anticipated was getting chariots, but I'm very, very happy about that. We also got a foot hero, as is tradition. Liege Mortek. I will say, I am sold on this Liege Mortek. Number one, I do always like a good foot hero in terms of gameplay and also a little bit of like RPG elements where, it's a generic non-named character that you can make a character in whatever story, whether you're doing a Path to Glory or anything like that. You can have this opportunity to do that with the character. I think he looks incredible. And also one of the rules that they talked about in the live stream is that after he fights, he can pick another unit to either shoot or fight. Now, that makes a big difference because of this next unit. And there's, of course, a few alternate builds for him, but Mortek Triaxes. And we got him. Death has shooting. Death has a bow army. They have this cool little bone meld over the other eye, which is very unsettling, but super, super cool. Just the design, they got a little bit of cloth over there. They got the big kind of beefier bows, which is really cool to see. I'm curious how they all go together. And then you have these brace fire tokens that have some cool effects to them. I am so stoked. So the idea being that this guy can fight, and then he can pick something and and have it shoot into it. So there's a chance that these guys here could shoot into combat. I don't know if it means that they have to be in combat or maybe it's a Holy Within 12 thing, but that could make for a lot of really cool interactions in the game. I'm very excited. I love my Bone Reapers. I've only played them a little bit. I'm definitely going to start playing them a little bit more here, and this pulled me back into AOS. I'm back in. You got me. So as soon as these comes out, I'm going nuts. But yes, let's see. Many years of patiently listening to his servants, implore for archers like the Grinning Mortek Guard and the King's Reapers. Catacross is acquiesced. Triaxes. Yes, I'm so stoked for these. The idea of having the bows and the catapults and the Mortek Guard. Love it. That sells me on all of it. But and here's the thing. Even if this is all that we got, I would have been happy. But we got more. Mortis Reapers, a stealthy assassin unit that sneaks behind enemy lines, kill generals, sorcerers, priests, and other figures who might shy away from a fair fight. This method is in contrast to Catacross's preferred method of tactical prowess. But basically, we got some cool previews. First of all, these guys look awesome. I am so stoked for these. These look so cool. Love the idea of them. Here's the teaser that we had, with the shape and the smoke coming out of it. But basically, from what we got from the description in the live stream, they are going to be able to teleport from terrain to terrain and then be able to charge and all that. And that is Super cool. I love that function. I think that's super cool. I hope their stat lines reflect a good, hard-hitting anti-hero unit that can also stand up to any sort of other generic unit. And of course, the pièce de résistance, the Ossiarch Bone Reaper Battletome. I am stoked. I love the color palette of the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. This is a phenomenal piece of artwork with the sort of teal blue-green background there. Spooky. The Gothazar Harvester looming in the background, the Necropolis Stalker. I'm stoked. The hint that we had was that the Relentless Discipline points were going to be changing, and that the number of heroes is going to unlock a certain number of Relentless Discipline points. So, for example, Catacross will be 10. The Liege Mortec is going to be 5. So I think they're going back to a little bit of what the Relentless Discipline points used to be. I don't know if we'll still have access to command points, but I am stoked as well. And of course, they unleashed a battle box for that. Normally, comes with 2 Morghasts, Soul Mason, Arkan, and another 20 Mortec. That is always a good value. I think that's actually solid, even if you have like 30 Mortec or something like that. If you wanted to just expand just a little bit more and get some of your elites and get Arkan the Black, that is good value. And of course, they have a Spearhead Cavalos Vanguard coming with the Liege Cavalos, the Tyrannic Cohort, which I haven't built yet, and I probably should. And of course, 10 Cavalos Death Bearers, which is super cool. And of course, Regiment of Renown Heralds of the Bone Tide, something you can bring into your other armies. 10 Mortec, Vorkamordian, and of course, 3 Immortal Skull. Super sick. So this was my big win of the year, is the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. I'm very, very excited. I hope they are coming out soon. It'll pull me back into the Mortal Realm so quickly, and I am stoked. I do have an entire army of Bone Reapers painted, and I do have a few more units to expand them with, and I'm excited to expand them as well. Other reveals that we got in the new year for AOS, a little bit smaller, but we got the Disciples of Tzeentch, the Fate Master. Cool little model, does some cool stuff there, but that's not the standout for the Disciples of Tzeentch. No. They're getting the Argent Shards. So this is their new terrain piece, which is actually super cool. I love the design of these. I'm not a huge Tzeentch guy, but these look absolutely incredible. If I saw these just sitting on a table, just generically sitting on a table, I would be stoked. They look super cool, super thematic. They got some really cool, like, reflective. Whoever painted them absolutely crushed it. The weird, like, muscly, like, sinew in between them. So cool. So that's really cool. And of course, they teased also the Battle Tome for the Disciples of Tzeentch. They're coming. That's a really cool purple color cover and stuff like that. I think that looks really cool. Hopefully they get some fun stuff as well. Of course, battle traits, fate points. I think they're getting rid of fate dice in its entirety. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see how they play, because they've always played a little differently. And of course, they get a battle force, the Warp Flame Cavalcade, which all demons all day. So that's something that you can take if you have Thousand Suns or something like that. This could still be a good box for you, because it's something that you can carry over into Warhammer 40,000. Really cool. And of course, Spearhead Zangor Flock, Zangor Enlightened, and plenty of other of them. They tease me with their Beasts of Chaos-esqueness, and it upsets me. So, and of course, a Regiment of Renown, Seekers of Silver, with some cool stuff there. And then we got a Lumineth Realm Lords, Venari Lord Regent. This is a new model that's coming to the Lumineth Realm Lords. Double back banner. It's the year of the double back banner, clearly. An alternative build for him as well here. And then, of course, I just talk about the Lumineth Realm Lord Battle Tome. Very different art. Very, very different. Like, there's like a cleanness to it, but a grit. You can see it there, you know, with like the dirt and everything there. It's a very different look for Lumineth, so I'm curious how that's going, if that's a reflection of what's in that book. I know it's just a cover's just a cover, but I think it looks really, really cool. I kind of like it a little bit more. Sounds like each rune inscribed at the start of the battle round gains its own effect. So it sounds like they're going to get something akin to what Fireslayers have presently, where you're activating a rune of some kind. So that could be interesting. They are also getting a battle force Ilithian War Host. It looks like you got some River Blades back there. You got your big bow battle. You got so it looks very infantry heavy, but could be interesting depending on what kind of rules we have for them. They got some cool stuff. They got the twins right there, and then of course Spearhead Hurricane Vanguard. with some cool Hurricane there. And then the Sigil Convocation, which of course there's their specials. So, and that's a regiment? That's weird. Just one caster with those things. That's different, but okay. And that wraps up the Mortal Realms. For Age of Sigmar, again, big one for me is Ossiarch Bone Reapers. They look absolutely incredible. The new models look fantastic. I am really excited to see that range fleshed out, and I hope that the rules reflect a cool Ossiarch kind of style of list building. I hope that like Mortec feel like they should be in there, along with Tyraxes. Like, I love a good mixed build. So hopefully it's not just big things like it has been for the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, you know, Nagash and Cavalos Death Riders, or, you know, what it was for Tom Guan, which was like a bunch of Morgas, and that's like it. And I don't know. That was also something keeping me away from Age of Sigmar. They have a damage problem. I'm curious to see how we can remedy it for, you know, especially the next GHB, because I would love to see a cooler, more nuanced approach to list building, so that it's not just oops all monsters all the time. It's still one of my problems, but nevertheless, we're here for the preview. On to the next one for me, and the last one, because I'm sorry I'm not covering Blood Bowl. Don't hate me. The Horus Heresy. What do we have coming? We have all new Legio Custodes. So, all new Custodes. What does that look like? We have a Legio Custodes battle group coming out, which has, you know, the Custodes shields. They have Custodian Guard, Shield Captain. I think these look cool. Obviously, the big thing is they're nicely upscaled, so you can see there's a little bit different proportions to them. I think they look great. There's a couple people who I know who didn't like them, and they didn't like them for specific reasons, but we're going to ignore those reasons because those reasons are stupid. But these reasons, I think that these look really, really cool. I like the look. I know they removed like the trigger aspect here, which, I mean, fine enough in my opinion. There's, you know, some people have said that what they actually do is they actually take their spear and they rotate it, and that's how they shoot it. So they just go like this to shoot. That's fine with me. I don't know. I'm not going to question the fictional weapon here that exists, or, you know, the God Emperor's perfect creation. So they look absolutely fantastic. New Custodian Guard. Here's they are with the shields and the swords, sword and board. They look absolutely fantastic. You got the big graph tank officially in plastic, which is so good to see. I know a lot of people who have plenty of these. They're the resin ones or otherwise. I think a plastic kit for this is just fantastic, and really excited about that. Oh, the new Dreadnought looks so good in I love this. Like, it's got the extra layers of ornate detail, but whoever did the posing, whoever built this guy, absolutely knocked it out of the park. I love the detail, love the posing. It's very intimidating. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on there. There it is with the sword and board, which is fantastic. Shield Captain, which cool little detail. The inscribing on the shield itself looks fantastic. Cloaks, of course. Here's some of the faces that they have, and Venatari. The Venatari, I'm not gonna lie, the Venatari revolvers there look so cool. I love that. It's a little ornate, but like, it just looks so cool. I love it. And, you know, of course you have some more, they're unhelmeted, you know, they got their bare head because, you know, they're light, they're fast, but they look absolutely incredible as well. And of course, again, there's a Cronus Grav Carrier, which is a massive transport for Custodes, which looks absolutely fantastic. Well, very similar grav tank design. There's a big there, and they did in the stream actually hold up like a Solar Auxilium model next to it to show you like what the size is, because it's massive and it does look very, very impressive. And of course, the Libra Custodes coming soon as well. On the Captain, you also find the rules for the two most famous Emperor's Talons, the Captain General Constantine Valdor, and the Knight Commander of the Silent Sisterhood, Janisha Kroll, which is cool. We've dropped a few hints that some of these models are also perfect for using in Warhammer 40,000, and it's entirely true. A rules update to the Adeptus Custodes is set for later this year, but several of the new miniatures are already perfectly suitable to represent current units in Warhammer 1000. So that is also good. It's one of the few times where they're not separating out 30k, 40k, and AOS. That's one of the few that they all exist together, so you can use them among whomever. And then the last reveal for Heresy, tanks galore for the Legiones. The Glaive Super Heavy Special Weapons Tank. This is a model variant of the Fellblade, which is again a big F-off tank. I have seen the box for it. It is actually massive. It is insane. This is cool. I mean, this is cool. I would love to have one of these. I will say building it will be probably its own nightmare and a half. I'm curious how quickly it does go together, because I spent a long time building even just the Saturnine Dreadnought. It took so long. It was so many weird pieces and stuff. It was really cool once it was done, but it was a lot. So just giving you more sides, looking at all the guns, mounted sponsons and everything. It's massive. It looks really cool. And of course, Whirlwind missile tank. So Whirlwind got a little update here with the Rhino chassis there, and that looks super, super cool. Again, I love the idea of like artillery. I always enjoyed artillery in some way, shape, or form. It makes sense to me, and it's really cool to have that with up there. And of course, it's nothing without a Journal Tactica. Mailed Fist. Legiones stories super in groups. 48-page supplement includes new Leviathan missions designed to accommodate a vast number of vehicles in asymmetric classes, with support for chaotic multiplayer battles that pitch everyone's armored squadrons against each other, full-on in-depth lore creation, super heavy fleets, covering certain battles. It looks incredible. It looks cool. And of course, genuinely showed off here by the Iron War, as is Heresy 3rd Edition, very Iron Warriors focused. They look absolutely incredible. They'll be entering service later this year, and of course, we'll have a pre-order. But that's it. So that's what we have for the new reveals. What do I think? Number one, this reveal was a lot better than the last one. Not just because they didn't have any technical issues, but also because we actually got what I would consider much more substantial reveals. Darkwater being the primary one from the last one. This one, we actually got a substantial amount. I'm not sure if there was just a delay and that's why they couldn't show those ones, or if these ones are going to just be more relative, or they wanted to start the year with a new bang. But for sure, for me, the big win is going to the Bone Reapers. Just for me personally, I'm very, very excited for the Bone Reapers. I am excited for the Maelstrom and the Red Corsair models. They look solid. I do like the Corsair models for the Eldari, but I gotta give it to the Bone Reapers. That is one faction that is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm very excited to play with the chariots and everything. So fingers crossed, we'll get to some of those. Let me know down in the comments, what did you think? What was your favorite preview, or what was your favorite reveal? And of course, like I said, if you like this content, feel free to like, share, subscribe. I got plenty of cool stuff coming up. At some point here, hopefully shortly, I will be working on a display board for the very, very first time. And of course, I will take you along with me. I'm planning on building a display board for my Astra Militarum. More specifically, I've got a few ideas that I want to execute with it. Very excited to try it out. I may or may not have some paints on the way that I'm very excited to try out as well, that some people have already showed off. And of course, just project galore, more topics of conversation. And I appreciate you following Tattoo Tabletop into the new year, into 2026. Got a lot of really cool stuff planned. And until next time, though, I guess you'll just have to go paint something.